Mark Rogers TV back with you to get you revved up for the bowl games. We've got 5 games on a Saturday, and this is really the first matchup with a little juice, a little star power, a little vibe to it when we talk Houston and San Diego State. And the two teams convene where the Stars go to play, Las Vegas. All right, the Las Vegas Bowl, Houston 9-3, San Diego State as the Mountain West Conference champions at 10-3. All right. Houston loses its coach. Tom Herman moves on to Texas, but there's continuity there with Major Applewhite, the offensive coordinator, 5-year contract. So he's in place, and I think his team may be playing for him, and the team really rallied behind him and told administration that they wanted Major Applewhite to be their new head coach. So they've got continuity with the offense, and we know the Houston story this year as the glamour group of 5 team because of the star head coach, the star quarterback, Greg Ward, and also because of all the talent that they had on offense and because of the schedule. They scheduled Oklahoma, they knocked off the Sooners, and they became immediately that group of 5 that could make it happen. Well, they had the midseason slump. They were beset with injuries all over the place. They took on Louisville late in the season after being kind of pushed off the map nationwide, and then they stunned Lamar Jackson and company 36-10. The next week, they get shredded by Memphis. So Houston's extremely talented, but they do have some deficiencies. All right, let's check out the defense first, because this true freshman defensive end, Ed Oliver, is something to behold. He had 19 tackles for loss. He is the highest rated player ever to be recruited and signed by a group of 5 school out of Houston, Texas, or the Houston area. Stephen Taylor, though, the leader at linebacker, the senior playing his final game, of course, should show up on an NFL roster, although he probably won't be drafted. 11 tackles for loss and 8.5 sacks. The other star on defense, Mr. Howard Wilson, 49 total tackles out of the secondary and 5 picks. If you saw the Louisville game, and holding Lamar Jackson and company to 10 points, it appeared as though Houston couldn't be scored upon against the likes of Memphis, and they were the next week. So it's been a Jekyll and Hyde hot and cold team that didn't have a whole lot to play for once the expectations were ceiling high, and they were not able to meet them. All right, last game for Greg Ward, as we mentioned, 68% passer. 22 touchdowns, 9 picks, ran for 500-plus on the ground, 9 touchdowns. Dynamic player who may be a Braxton Miller type moving on to the NFL. Maybe he can find a home in the slot for some NFL team. Linnell Bonner caught 93 balls for over 1,000 yards and 3 touchdowns. Chance Allen's a tight end or a player on the outside, actually, with enormous skill. 56 catches, 6 touchdowns. And Duke Catalan, we believe, was poised to break out this season, but had a pretty pedestrian year, 500 yards, 3.9 per carry, and 4 touchdowns. That's the Houston offense and defense. Donnell Pumphrey is the star power on the San Diego State side, and he's going to go down as the all-time leading rusher in college football. Not too shabby despite and regardless of the level of play. And when he got to see the big boys, meaning Cal, and Cal doesn't have a great defense, but they play in a Power 5 as a Pac-12 school. 281 yards rushing for Pumphrey. He ran for 2018 and 6 touchdowns. He's considered a top 15 to 20 NFL draft prospect at running back. Probably won't be drafted. Rashad Penny ran for almost 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns, backing up Pumphrey. So they don't throw it a whole lot. That's 237-yard passing attempts out of Christian Chapman. So that's less than 20 pass attempts per game. He did complete 60%, and he was extremely efficient with 19 touchdowns and 6 picks. Michael Holder's the guy that makes the big plays in the passing game on the outside at 22 yards per catch and 5 touchdowns on 26 receptions. And when they can't stick it in the end zone, John Barron takes care of the field goal kicking duties, 19 for 21. So they're in good shape there. Alex Barrett on defense makes the plays in the backfield, 6.5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss. You've got Calvin Munson, who also playing his final game at San Diego State, has NFL aspirations and is on NFL draft boards or just off of those draft boards. He led the team with 108 tackles, 10 for loss. And Diamante Kazi had 7 interceptions, so Greg Ward's going to have to look out for him. Houston's a 4-point favorite in Vegas, and I believe this is going to be an entertaining game. If I could only see one game on Saturday, this is the matchup. Would love to see Greg Ward in his final game, Donnell Pumphrey, Ed Oliver. Wouldn't mind watching him again, even though we're going to see him for another 2 years. A lot of talent on the field, although I didn't find anybody who is going to be draftable. A lot of guys will just miss the draft. They'll be in camps, the guys that we mentioned. Houston, San Diego State, Cougars a 4-point favorite. I think they cover in this one. We're going to go 34-28 Houston. Despite the coaching transition, again, as we mentioned, Major Applewhite, liked by these players in this team. They will play for him, and they'll win the game over San Diego State. Need to hear from you. Let's talk it up right here on Mark Rogers TV.